Following Jesus has changed my life tremendously. In the year 2020, I was heavily into the spirituality movement. I would meditate 20 minutes a day. I would do qigong, breath work, you name it, singing bowls. I've been to a couple shroom ceremonies. Been to like 2 or 3 shroom ceremonies. I've done a bunch of psychedelic drugs and, you know, dive deep into that space. And when I was deep into spirituality, I had an ego. I thought I was better than everyone else because I was meditating, and I felt like I was a conscious being, which I am, and I do believe in meditation still, but I don't do it as often as I want to. And we'll touch on meditating on the word as opposed to just meditating how I used to later on. So yeah, I was meditating endlessly, doing breath work, taking shrooms, and there was still this void. There was still an emptiness within myself. And my intention of doing all these practices was to evolve and to ascend. And I didn't know what I was trying to ascend to, but I was damn near gonna die from doing all that stuff. And then after like 2, 3, 4 years of doing that, you know, let's backtrack. I grew up a Christian, and at the age of 19, I met my mentor, who was a Christian. But I was always questioning the belief of I was always questioning the values of the Bible. And I was so attached to learning the esoteric knowledge, meaning the secret knowledge of the Bible, the secret knowledge of, you know, like, oh, the Bible's tampered, where was Jesus in the lost years? And don't get me wrong, those are valid questions. But I've learned to surrender to God. I've learned to just let God do his work and stop questioning so much. And I know in the Bible it says to seek the truth and ye shall find. And I really do believe in that still. But I do not want to question God anymore. And I'm still questioning in my mind if the Bible is tampered. And I know that we are supposed to trust in God and not trust in man, and men wrote the Bible. But look what happens to you when you fully trust in God, when you fully put your heart and soul to follow Jesus's values, to follow God. You know, you become a vessel of God. So I believe, like, all the prophets that wrote the Bible were channeled by God, you know, and maybe in those times when the Bible was getting written, it was maybe easier for people to connect to God at those times. But now we live in an era where there's a lot of distractions. There is a lot of the devil's work on earth right now. And I don't want to get too deep into that. But yeah, my journey has my spiritual journey has been a roller coaster for sure. And my old spiritual life was more so ego and leaning on my own understanding and leaning on my own knowledge and questioning God's word. And there's something in me that just tells me to stop questioning and just surrendering to God. And I've been going to church lately, and it's been instilling peace in my heart more than when I was meditating before. And I was getting in touch with Buddhist monks and doing a lot of research on how to ascend as a conscious being. And I just feel like the Christian values and following Jesus is just the right fit for me. And my mentor, he passed away, R.I.P. He was a very, very heavy believer of God and a follower of Jesus. And I was always questioning his beliefs to the point where he actually stopped believing in the Christian values and lean more towards the Buddha and being more of a Buddhist. And ever since he passed away, I've just been leaning more towards Jesus, And I just wish that he was here to see that. I didn't script anything, so sorry if I'm jumbling all over the place. I'm just speaking my mind, and I just want to be as real as possible, In my later videos, when I start making more videos in the future, I will be scripting it and making it more organized and easier for you guys to follow along. But yeah, that's just the gist of my spiritual life. And I've done a lot of DMT and shrooms and LSD, and it's just a never-ending cycle of trying to fill your void with being whole and trying to fill it with joy. But the real joy comes from Jesus. The real joy comes from God. And it's joy that's given to you in a not at such a high dose, It's like a balanced dose of joy. Because even if you have the hardest times, the darkest days, you still feel that joy. You still feel that void that's filled with Jesus' love, with God's love. And yeah, I'll share more about my journey as time goes by. But yeah, I'm about to hit up my my boxing classes. I actually am a boxing trainer. Maybe I should film and post my classes, and I haven't been training a lot with training boxing a lot, but yeah, I need to get back into it and show you guys that side of my martial arts journey as well. All right, God bless. And if you guys went through a similar path and went through similar experiences, comment down below. I'd want to connect. All right, see ya. God bless. Thank you.